I lay there, staring at the ceiling, my body trembling, yet the yearning within me lingered, unyielding. Ethan lay beside me, his breath fading, a serene stillness enveloping him. He believed he had provided me with everything I craved. He was utterly mistaken. I turned to him, my fingers grazing his chest, sensing the tension simmering just beneath the surface. His smile lingered, a haunting mix of humor and indifference. I leaned in, my lips brushing against his ear, the tension thick in the air. You must reach out to your friends now. His body froze, a heartbeat caught in time. Then, a spark ignited in his eyes. A chilling, menacing chuckle echoed in the shadows. He grasped his phone tightly. Tap, tap. The message is out there, waiting. The clock ticked, each second stretching into eternity. I was left in the silence, heart racing, anticipation clawing at my insides. All I could do was wait. Before we dive in, if this tale grips you, pause for a moment to like the video and subscribe. Your presence means everything. Thank you for being here. Now we plunge into the heart of the tale. The ice in my glass had vanished, yet I remained oblivious. The whispers swirled around me, faint and unimportant, like shadows in the night. My body lingered in the present, yet my mind was ensnared in the haunting shadows of the night before. It was never in my intentions to uncover it. I sought a challenge that would test every ounce of my strength. Something deeper, something that grips the soul. Yet the familiar scenes, slow and choreographed, only deepened my unease. My fingers hover over the screen, a restless ache gnawing at me. Just when despair threatened to consume me, a glimmer caught my eye. A woman stood at the center, tension crackling in the air as eyes locked onto her, unreadable intentions lingering in the silence. In an instant, with no limits, it was nothing but raw, unbridled ecstasy. A surge of heat coursed through my veins. My finger moved before my mind could catch up. The video began, and in an instant I vanished. She shivered under their gaze, breath hitching as the weight of the moment bore down on her. Relentless, unforgiving, just an endless surge. They surrounded her, an unrelenting presence that left her breathless and overwhelmed. It was unlike anything I had ever witnessed, a sensation that gripped my very soul. The pleasure struck me like a thunderbolt, leaving me trembling, breathless, and lost in a storm of ecstasy. Each wave crashed over me, relentless and consuming, until I was utterly spent. But still it fell short. Hours have passed, yet my body clings to the memory. My thighs trembled beneath the weight of the bar. The longing pulsed beneath my skin, an urgent whisper of what could be. The video ended, yet the weight lingered, heavy and unresolved. I yearned to understand, to experience the depths of her emotions. I breathed out, my fingers gripping the glass tightly, and then they appeared. I was hidden, breathless, as they moved closer, oblivious to my presence. For men stand at the edge of fate. They appeared at ease, yet an unseen tension crackled in the air, glasses clinking softly as words danced dangerously between them. One lay in his seat, tattoos whispering secrets beneath the fabric of his shirt. Another wore a smile that hinted at mastery, his dark eyes flickering across the room, holding back a storm of mischief. Against my will, the whispers pierced through the silence, drawing me in. Most women crave the wild. One of them whispered, her voice trembling with unspoken desires. Yet, when reality strikes, they falter. You can't hold them responsible, another whispered, the weight of the moment heavy in the air. They wander, lost in shadows, unaware of their true desires. That's why you must reveal it. A chilling laugh echoed, glasses clinked ominously. A searing heat clawed at the pit of my stomach. My fingers tightened around the glass, a tremor of uncertainty coursing through me. Their whispers pierced the air, heavy with unspoken truths, and I could feel their eyes, cold and searching, as if I were the very subject of their conversation. I raised the glass to my lips, heart racing. I sipped slowly, each movement heavy with unspoken tension. One of them saw me, the inked mark. Ethan. The name echoes in the silence, heavy with unspoken truths. His eyes locked onto mine, a silent storm brewing between us. In that moment he grasped it tightly. The sharpness of his lips hovered over peril, a whisper away from chaos. I held my gaze unflinching. Ethan rose, a tense silence enveloping him as he lifted the glass to his lips. He moved with a deceptive ease, yet the weight of his purpose hung heavy in the air. He was approaching, each step heavy with intent. I held my gaze steady as he closed the gap, taking a seat beside me at the bar. He loomed larger than life, a shadow that swallowed the light. His jaw was set, a shadow of intensity, while his dark eyes sparkled with mischief, hinting at secrets untold. A confidence radiated from him, palpable and electric. He raised the glass to his lips, the liquid swirling with unspoken tension. He turned his head, eyes locking onto mine, a flicker of intrigue dancing within them, yet devoid of shock. "You've been listening," he whispered, the weight of his words hanging in the air. I traced the rim of my glass, my heart racing as I tilted my head, sensing the tension in the air. "The urge is overwhelming." His smile flickered, a fleeting shadow of something deeper lurking beneath. "What now? Do you believe what you just heard?" My eyes locked onto his, a silent battle raging between us. Secure, yet the shadows linger, whispering doubts that claw at the edges of peace. Unyielding, perhaps, his eyes deepened with shadows. The thrill lingered, but shadows loomed closer. Yet, beneath the surface, a darker presence took hold. A test of will. He abandoned his glass on the bar, pivoting sharply to face me. His fingers tapped a haunting rhythm on the wood. "I live up there," I declared, my voice steady yet heavy with unspoken weight. Ethan's laughter echoed softly, a denial wrapped in intrigue, his head shaking as awe flickered in his eyes. "Time is slipping away. Neither do you." That was everything I craved. He drained the final drop from his glass. With a last, shattering impact, he abandoned it on the bar and slipped into the shadows of the doorway. "Guide me through the shadows." I plunged forward, heart racing. The elevator ascended, shrouded in an eerie stillness. Yet the silence screamed. The heat of Ethan's body pressed against mine, igniting a tension that was impossible to ignore. His weight loomed over her, suffocating and undeniable. His movements, both relaxed and deliberate, held a tension that was palpable. Silence hung heavy between them. It was never needed. As we reached my apartment, my hands trembled with tension, yet my heart remained still. The door creaked open, and I stepped inside, heart racing. Just as I began to move, he appeared, looming in the shadows. He leaned against the door, his presence filling the space, tension thickening in the air. His warm breath grazed my neck, igniting a shiver of anticipation. As I spun around, our lips crashed together, igniting a spark that sent shivers down my spine. The kiss lingered, a moment suspended in time, heavy with unspoken words, insistent. His lips pressed tightly as he pulled me closer, the world around us fading away. Seizing the moment, heart racing, no second thoughts. My fingers brushed against his shirt, trembling with uncertainty, clutching the fabric tightly. "This is happening." As I pressed against the cold, unyielding wall, the weight of despair bore down on me. This was my doing, and now I was surrendering to it. His hands gripped my waist, a jolt of electricity coursing through me, unyielding and steadfast, charting my body. A pulse of uncertainty thrums beneath the surface. His touch ignited a fire within me. A haunting unease lingers, something unfiltered. He lifted me effortlessly. I stood frozen, surrendering to the inevitable. My legs wrapped tightly around him as he carried me into the shadows of the night. As I hit the mattress, a sharp breath escaped me. The air caught in my throat as he loomed over me. He loomed over me, the air between us charged with an unspoken intensity. It was powerful. His mouth traced a slow, searing path from my neck to my clavicle. Each movement held a weight, a tension that crackled in the air. Deliberate, he grasped the reins of power, a storm brewing in his eyes. How can I ignite a response within my body? And I let it happen. It happened in an instant. It craved something, a deep, insatiable hunger that gnawed at the edges of its being. His grip was unyielding, a silent promise that sent shivers down my spine. His body glided with a haunting grace. The tension surged, a storm brewing in silence, unyielding, elevating me to the brink. And when I finally surrendered, pleasure crashed into me like a wave, overwhelming and consuming, cutting through the silence. Shattered in a heartbeat, my breath shattered. My fingers dug deep into his shoulders. My back arched, a shiver coursing through me as he loomed above. It was more than good. It was a moment that lingered, heavy with unspoken words. Excellent. But just as the feeling began to fade, just as my breath steadied, I felt it in my bones. The emptiness gnawed at me, relentless and suffocating. Motionless, breath held tight. The heat of his skin ignites a fire within me. My heart pounds fiercely. I stared at the ceiling, heart racing, as shadows danced above me. My body trembled with fatigue, yet the hunger lingered, an insatiable shadow haunting every moment. Ethan's hand brushed against my thigh, igniting a spark of tension that hung in the air. Motionless, contentment washed over me, but shadows lingered just out of sight. He faced me, a fleeting smile dancing on his lips. Content? Or is there a lingering doubt? The silence hangs heavy, waiting for an answer that may never come. I stared deep into his eyes. My lips part. My pulse races, a frantic rhythm in the silence. The room pulsed with an unsettling warmth. The scent of skin and sweat lingered, thick and suffocating. Ethan's presence was a whisper in the dark, a heartbeat away. His breath faltered, each gasp a whisper of life fading away. His body tensed, a fleeting moment of satisfaction before the storm broke. Yet, a void lingered within me. The longing lingered, a haunting presence in the silence. The longing that lingered, unyielding. My body trembled on the brink of collapse. Yet, a fierce fire smoldered within me, threatening to ignite. I faced him, my fingers pierced through his chest, feeling the tension ripple through his muscles beneath my fingertips. His lips twisted into a slow, unsettling smile. He shut his eyes, plunging into darkness. So sudden? I laughed, but the weight of my words hung heavy in the air. I leaned in, my lips brushing against his ear, a shiver of anticipation hanging in the air. You must reach out to your friends. In an instant, his smile vanished, leaving a haunting silence in its wake. Then, a spark of mischief ignited in his eyes. Clarity pierces the darkness. Desire ignites. Is this real? He whispered, his voice barely breaking the silence. I held his stare, steadfast. Do you really believe I'm joking? Ethan's laughter echoed, a haunting sound in the silence. He shook his head, a desperate gesture, as his hand reached for the phone, trembling with uncertainty. A fleeting brush against the glass. A message dispatched, fate hanging in the balance. He abandoned the phone, a heavy silence filling the air. He turned to me, his smile cutting through the air like a knife. His finger grazed my arm, a fleeting touch that sent shivers down my spine. His voice, a haunting whisper in the shadows, brimming with uncertainty. What you just unleashed is beyond your comprehension. I lay beside him, tension crackling in the air. Breath held, a moment hangs in the air. A storm brews within, twisting and turning, ready to explode. The clock ticked, each second stretching into eternity. I was left in the shadows, heart racing, anticipation clawing at my insides. All I could do was wait. The knock on the door jolted me, a surge of electricity coursing through my veins. Cutting through the silence, a jolt of energy crackled in the air. I acted on instinct, my heart racing, the world around me blurring into chaos. My skin throbbed with an unrelenting heat. My breath hitches, a storm brewing within me. Yet it was all in vain. Not yet. The weight of anticipation hangs heavy in the air. The door barely creaked open before they stormed in, unyielding and relentless. 3 men stepped inside, their expressions unreadable, the atmosphere shifting. A sudden weight pressed down, suffocating and thick. They acted without a moment's pause. They stood firm, unwavering in their belief. They understood the weight of their presence. And so I did. Ethan lingered in the shadows. He watched, a smile flickering, as shadows danced around him. His arms were tightly crossed over his chest, a barrier against the storm brewing within. He had been poised for this moment, every heartbeat a countdown. Just as the door began to shut, a pair of hands gripped me tightly. A shadow looms, creeping closer from behind. Enormous, steadfast. His hands clutched my waist, yanking me into his embrace. His warmth enveloped me, a tight grip that left no escape. His hands were rough, calloused, a testament to untold struggles. They grasped me tightly, their grip unyielding. How to possess me. His breath brushed against my neck, igniting a shiver of anticipation. Stealthy and intense. His fingers brushed against my belly, a silent promise hanging in the air. It felt like a game, a chilling measure of his power over me. Before I could catch my breath, another figure loomed before me. His gaze pierced through the shadows. Starving. It brushed past, a flicker of joy concealed within the shadows. His fingers gripped my chin, lifting it with a force that sent shivers down my spine. His lips crashed against mine. The kiss held no allure. It was profound. Time drags, each second a weight, heavy with anticipation, brimming with purpose. It surrounded me, an inescapable presence. A fire ignites within me, twisting and turning, consuming everything in its path. Sparks cascade down my skin, igniting a fire within. Suddenly, a third hand gripped my arm. Fingers trace my wrist. A shiver runs through me, descending further into the unknown. My fingers grazed the tender skin of my thigh, a jolt of electricity coursing through me. A touch that ignites the air, charged with unspoken tension. To spark a fire within, to see how quickly it would plunge. They closed in, shadows looming, hearts racing. Shoved into the abyss. Yanked away, the world spun into darkness. Led into the unknown. Every soul played their part. One held my breath captive, seizing my lips, snatching my breath away just as it yearned to break free. One held me fast, a lifeline in the storm, trapped with no escape in sight. One pushed me to the edge. His fingers traced every quiver, each pulse a silent scream, each jolt. Every location ignited a desperate longing within me. They glided as one, a haunting dance of fate. Certainty hung in the air, thick and heavy. Thoughts collided, suffocating in the darkness. Just feel. In a heartbeat, everything shifted. He spun me around, his grip tightening like a vice. My back pressed tightly against the chest of the one who stood before me. Time slipped away as the first one forced my head back, a chilling moment hanging in the air. Seizing my lips once more, I dissolved into it. It slipped through my fingers, a haunting realization that I was powerless. I never asked for this. A firm grip brushed against my thigh, sending a shiver down my spine. It rises, trembling with anticipation. And then the other one came. They positioned me precisely in their trap. The weight of them pressed down, a heartbeat away from chaos. His hands gripped my waist, a silent promise hanging in the air, leading me through shadows, unyielding, resolute, commanding. I am jaded. My head tilts back, surrendering to the weight of the moment. My body tensed, a reflex of desperation. A chilling breath grazes my ear. Exactly. The tension mounted, quicker, into the abyss, unyielding. The hands trembled, relentless in their motion, positioning me, shifting my very essence. They held me captive, right where they desired. For a fleeting moment, my wrists were captured, a tension hanging in the air. And then it was set free. My hips shifted, a subtle movement that held the weight of unspoken tension. The angles shifted, a silent tension hanging in the air. New sensations crashed over me, stealing my breath away before I could even grasp what was happening. Each touch ignites a storm within. Each heartbeat, every shift in power. Fire coursed through my veins. I released my grip. I gave in. I shattered. I gave in. It was harsh. It shattered. It was chaos. It was everything until it wasn't. A sound slipped from my lips, trembling with unspoken fear. A figure shrouded in shadows, unrecognizable yet hauntingly familiar. A desperate gasp for breath. Shaking. Shattered. Yet they pressed on, relentless. I couldn't bear to halt. A shiver coursed through me. It trembled, a silent warning echoing in the stillness. I surrendered utterly. My mind slipped away. Waves of pleasure crash relentlessly, tearing me apart each time. I refused to fall. I was plummeting into darkness. It was overwhelming, yet it fell short. I had never plunged so far into darkness. It was a sensation unlike any other, a rush that gripped my very soul. Time slipped away, an endless void of uncertainty. Moments hang heavy in the air, ticking away, each second heavy with anticipation. A heartbeat stretched into forever. As I finally crumpled against them, my body shook with fear and desperation. Drained to the core, utterly shattered. Ethan's voice slipped through my fingers, a fleeting echo of joy that lingered in the air. "Is this what you sought all along?" I gasped for air, but not my power. I reached out, my muscles taut with anticipation. My skin burns with an electric thrill. My pulse races, a frantic drum in the silence. A smile creeps onto my lips, dark and knowing. My fingers grazed my skin, the heat lingering, a haunting reminder of their presence. Absolutely. Contentment washed over me, but a shadow loomed just out of sight. I was whole. The room pulsed with heat, a tension hanging in the air. The heavy air, thick with the scent of longing and flesh. A weight settled within me, heavy and undeniable. My breath steadies, a fragile whisper in the silence. The ache within me vanished at last. I reached out, my muscles taut with anticipation. My fingers grazed my own skin, a shiver of recognition coursing through me. Still raw. It lingers, a pulse of electricity in the silence. I had discovered it, the very thing I sought. Ethan's smile flickered beside me, a haunting promise in the shadows. His voice, low and laced with a haunting satisfaction, lingered in the air. What now? I released my breath, a heavy weight in the silence. A smile, sharp and fleeting, dances on my lips. Only time will reveal the truth. For the first time, I found myself unsearching, lost in the moment. Let's face the truth. In my shoes, would you have chosen differently? Or would you have chosen the safer path? Each of you carries a tale, hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be unveiled. Share your thoughts below. Time stretches, each second heavy with anticipation. If this tale moved you, remember to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for what comes next. Stay alert, for a new tale awaits just around the corner. You'll regret it if you miss this. Until we meet again.